Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Women of color cannot be ignored. May 25, 2022, 5:00 p.m. Save login, register or subscribe to save articles for later. Share normal text size, larger text size, very large text size 0. Leave a comment. Federal election 2022 full election results: ALP 75, LNP 57, N10, GRN 3, OTH 276 seats needed for a majority 4 still to call 75.41% counted. Updated May 26, 2022, 4.34 am. As a young Asian Australian woman, the win for women of color this election fills me with joy. Since I was young, I've understood Parliament to be a place for people who don't look like me. I still remember when I was in Year 11 in 2014 and ISIS was the major news story at the time. I tuned into Question Time and saw conservative white men describing all Muslims as bad and the same. As someone with a Muslim mother, I remember feeling so hopeless about the lack of understanding in the place that is meant to represent us. Yasmin Poole is a youth advocate and a national ambassador for Plan International Australia. Credit Martin Ullman. But the success of women of colour this election shows that the tides are changing. It's not a once-off. The ball is rolling and its momentum will fling open the door for all types of communities who have previously been denied a seat at the table. One of the big stories to come out of the election was the success of the female Teal independents, which resonated with women across the country. But it's not just the Teals. The growing number of women of colour in Parliament, and the many voters who are women from diverse backgrounds, carefully watching what political parties do, not just say, is a reminder that women of colour cannot be ignored. Parties who do not improve diversity in their own ranks signal that they are out of touch with modern Australia. It's a perception that seems to have influenced the coalition's stunning loss. Teal independent candidate Monique Ryan wins in Corn. Credit Joe Armade. Women of colour have been historically underrepresented in Australian politics. From the abolition of the White Australia policy in 1973, to even the last parliament, women of colour have made up a tiny fraction of our federal representatives. However, this election saw a record number of women of colour elected. Incoming female First Nations parliamentarians include Marion Scrimger for Labor, Jacinta Nampijinpa Price for Country Liberals and the re-election of Senator Lydia Thorpe for the Greens. Culturally diverse women include Independent Dyla, who was born in Vietnam, alongside Labor's Michelle Ananda Raja, who has Sri Lankan heritage, and Sally Sato, who has Chinese heritage. Many of these wins did not come easy. Research from ANU suggests that women are more likely to be pre-selected in marginal seats. This election, only 1 in 5 female coalition and Labor candidates were selected to run in safe seats, showing that women, and especially diverse women, are usually given the harder fight. New Labor MP Sally Sato. Credit Brooke Mitchell. Their success despite the odds shows that voters are resonating with candidates who offer something different from the wealthy, white status quo. Representation in politics may inspire more diverse women to run. A recent report by Plan International Australia found that 1/3 of culturally diverse young women voters said they would never consider running for politics because of their cultural background and because Parliament is not diverse enough. The powerful stories of incoming female parliamentarians help to show diverse women that they can and should put their hands up. Incoming MP Sally Sato describes herself as the daughter of hard-working Chinese migrants who fled Laos after the Vietnam War. Dyla will be the first federal MP from a refugee background and recalls lying on that rickety boat in the middle of the ocean not knowing if our family will survive. These stories are not just stories. They are lived experiences that shape policies that work better for all of us. Of course, women of colour are not a monolithic bloc. They collectively represent a huge diversity of ethnicities, languages, and histories. The progress made this election is good, but there are still many communities who are still not represented in politics. At our next election, I want to see even more women of color given the chance to run, alongside other communities who are traditionally not seen in our halls of power. Parties can no longer turn away. In fact, doing so might even spell their political defeat. Thank you for reading the Herald. This article is complimentary. Register or log in now to read more articles and unlock extra benefits. No payment required. Read more. Continue with Google, continue with Apple, or email address. Continue by continuing. You agree to your personal information being collected under a privacy policy and accept our terms of use. Hide content.